All right, guys. A few of you recommended this one. Bo Burnham. I think this might just be him talking, but either way, let's get right into it, man. I mean, Bo Burnham, like, really hilarious, like, very comedic. Out, like his lyrics. I feel like every lyric there's a joke, or at least it's setting up a joke, and it's framed in such a great way. So I'm excited for this, man. Let's get right into it.
I was running
now,
titles.
why can he talk? Who said?
He shouldn't be able to talk before him.
Yeah.
That's true. Fair point.
I am.
Fair point.
I'm of the younger generation, so I just wonder for all of you, who are you?
No, we've got some pretty iconic faces in the room, but that is hilarious because the younger gen. I'll let it play out, man. But that's hilarious.
All right, now you can talk.
It's so good.
And he's dead serious. He didn't break at all. He's still looking around like, no, that was a real question. I need answers. Oh man, let's go.
It's so good because it's so mutual. The truth is, I saw your special like just a couple weeks ago. I was really into what you were doing, and I said, "Now, who is this?" And then
He thought you were Emo Phillips.
I'm a big fan of Bo's, and you kind of had a quick trajectory in a very short time, and people gave you shit for it without even having seen
The
you.
biggest reason people gave me shit is since I came on the internet, they said that I didn't get enough criticism. I wasn't in the clubs grinding it out. But the truth is, for the older comics that say that, I want them to read 10,000 internet comments and see if they don't feel fully criticized. After that, I mean, like...
Dude, people are way worse on the internet than they are in person, even at a comedy show. There's all bets are off with the comments, man.
It's the most vitriolic, personal. I mean, it's one thing for a heckler to have to heckle you on stage and own that moment, but when people are faceless and don't have to get the repercussions for that,
What's the worst thing they've said about you?
The first comment I ever got was when I was 15. It was "Go Go Gadget Faggot." That's all it was.
Well, all right, wait a second. That seems supportive.
I know.
And honestly, I meant it as supportive.
we were racing to that.
I know, we just cut you right off at the turn, sorry.
Dude, I gotta be careful drinking water during this because I'm gonna end up having to buy a new microphone, man.
Just as well, as long as someone said it.
So when I first met Bo, I asked him who his favorite comic is, and he said Hans Theeuwen. Exactly, he's a Dutch comedian. And when I met you, you were 9? I can't really talk about it because of the restraining order, but I was just blown away that you would even know who he was.
Wait, what's his name?
Hans Theeuwen.
Can you do a little bit of this thing?
He's a Dutch absurdist. One of the things he does is he brings out a sock puppet, which is a black sock.
See, already I don't like him.
Yeah, no. All right. It's a white sock.
Oh,
and then he just sings a song and feeds the sock a Baby Ruth and just crunches in the Baby Ruth the entire time. It's insane. Well, it just seems like the really only rules about stand-up comedy is you have to stand up on stage and you have to be funny. And there seems to be all these invisible rules that people put up, like, starting with your second best joke, ending with your best joke.
Who told you this?
Yeah, where?
I don't know. I took a comedy class. No, I didn't.
Dude, this is, man, I would love to meet Bo Burnham, man. I would love to meet all these guys, man. Come on.
I didn't.
When I was 19 at the University of Arizona, I'd never been in a comedy club in my life. And I saw that George Carlin was appearing at a club in Phoenix, and I took my material naively up to see if he would look at it, because I sat down and wrote some material that I thought was right for Carlin. And he was standing by the bar, and I asked him if he would read the material, and he said, well, I write my own stuff, but I'll look at it. And he said, come back tomorrow night. And the next night I drove back. He, as it turned out, took me into his dressing room and had read everything and said, man, I think you're really funny. I think you're very green, but there's something funny on each page, because I think what he sensed is the essence of something funny. Yeah. And then that can be developed. Because at the core, your essence is funny, then you just attach it to your personality, which clearly should be checked.
Hey, Gary, I got a couple of jokes that I...
Well, there's a difference, though. You can still be introspective and not show any of that on stage directly.
Oh.
Like, I don't talk about life.
I mean, you're so clearly, if I make this is a compliment, you are so clearly a very unique fellow that it's clear that just by being yourself, that stuff comes out of you. It doesn't mean that you have to talk about yourself necessarily.
Right. No. Right. Yeah.
Just play along. Just play along.
I know that you've been on an internal journey, a spiritual journey. Would you call it a spiritual?
Yeah, it's pronounced spiritual. It's you know, I've been meditating far too long to be happy about anything.
Stand-up comedy and comedy seems so inherently Western. So, like, to understand Eastern, and that might be me being sued.
No, you're.
But how does that affect your perspective on comedy? Because I don't
lay
really
down
think of
some wisdom,
Eastern.
man.
Wow.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, yeah. That is the correct question. The answer to that takes a tad of time. I think the Eastern philosophy really encourages authenticity, and nothing but authenticity. What I saw when I saw you on stage is I didn't see a fake moment.
But here's where it gets difficult to explain or understand, is that Bo actually, when he performs, there's a lot of ironic detachment there. There's a lot of, you're not really revealing anything yourself.
I never talk about what I really think about on stage directly, because I don't value what I think at this point about those issues. Well, just really, like, I don't think anyone wants to get up and hear a 20-year-old like tell them what they think about how the world works.
It's very hard to watch someone that funny, that young, when you think of how unfunny.
You know, it is fascinating that they bring up that it's a Western, globally speaking, kind of a Western-oriented thing, and there is definitely a cultural difference between. I've got a neighbor, and he's from an Asian country, and he's very direct and very authentic. And to a lot of Americans and Westerners in general, it's probably off-putting, but there is a very big cultural difference. And like, you don't usually hear about like a Chinese comedian like from China, and that's not to criticize China whatsoever, for this, because every culture is different, but like, you don't, there are certain countries in Asia, or just in the West, where it's like, comedy seems to be a Western thing and not really considered as much culturally in the Eastern, countries. But anyway, we'll keep going. I'm not all this stuff is way above my IQ, so I'm just going to keep going here.
Funny you were at 20 years old.
All I did at 20 is worry about my hair, I think.
Yeah, that's a dead end.
Hear about your journey. I want to know if you've attained anything through your study of Buddhism.
I don't know if attained is the right word. So with the whole thing's a mess. I mean, you get closer to just being.
What exactly does that mean? So translate it into comedy, what it means.
Oh my God.
Translate it into comedy?
As a comic,
I will.
How do you?
I will. It's closest to where he's starting, which is, I'm not really trying to be anything right now. I'm sitting down. This is what I do.
Do you think Bo's just healthy?
I think Bo's really healthy, yeah.
And he can be as funny as us fucked up.
Are you damaged?
No, I always.
Come on, you gotta be.
No, I.
You wanna be?
Yeah, I know. Oh man. Well, the really fucked up part was the little time I spent in clubs, I would find myself jealous of the problems that our comics had, because I felt like I wasn't legitimate, because anything that I've achieved in light of nothing. Like, I've had people patting me on the back since day one. I think I get.
Oh, that's horrible.
I know, but it's true. There's a thing in Gary's DVD where he's talking to Jerry Seinfeld, and he was saying, Gary, it's not all about pain. You don't have to be in pain to be funny. Isn't it about talent? Can't you just be born with like a God-given gift, and you're just a talented person, and you can communicate, and it's all about that?
I said, I hear rage.
Well, I just think the absolute comedy comes from pain, I think kind of limits what comedy is, because I think comedy comes from love, it comes from like fear, it comes from hate.
You're gonna tell me you're not fucking angry?
Oh, no.
I mean, come on, I saw that song. I see how you look. I know what you went through.
No, total anger, but to say that it's...
You're angry at Justin Bieber, aren't you?
But I'm arrogant.
It comes from everything. It comes from everything, is what you're saying.
But the anger there, I don't think that's damage that I need to fix. I'm just like stuck up enough to think that they're wrong.
We've just focused on anger here and all that stuff, and the problems with the parents. But there will be other elements that include love and everything else you've mentioned, that as you sort those out, they will continue to be fodder for your next song.
Right.
That's all. It's whatever you sort out.
Yeah. Just that absolute comedy.
But someone who isn't sorting out that stuff within them.
Right now.
Are we meeting here again next week?
Yes.
I was waiting for somebody. Yeah, that's funny, man. Man, that's funny. It's cool to see. I've only seen Bill Burnham like perform some of his songs, or it's always accompanied by a musical thing. But it's cool to see him just kind of talking and hang. And I see a bunch of interviews now. Those are probably cool to. I might check some of those out, man. But you guys recommend what to check out. But yeah, man, I think that's super cool, and it's cool to see him out like off the stage and not performing, and still, just kind of like to hear how he talks about what he's saying, and that's interesting that he even says he almost doesn't value his opinions about how the world works, but kind of has these observations and puts them in a comedic, in a comedic song. So, well, I'm gonna wrap this one up, man. Bo Burnham, this dude's funny as hell. I like him.